get to choose the roles we play. There's some people who think that, and I'm like, sorry, nope. If we did, a lot of us would be playing Goku by now. Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to today's panel. More than just a voice panel. First time I'm ever putting this on, so thank you all for taking the time to hear us out on this. My name is John K. Perot. I'm an audio engineer, voice actor. I've been fortunate enough to work on stuff like Spy Family, Trigun Stargaze, Fire Force, 100 Girlfriends Who Really Love You. Joining me today is a friend of mine, Mr. Jamie Snowden.
Hello everyone, my name is Jamie Snowden. I'm a Crunchyroll voice actor. You guys can hear me in stuff like Kaiju Number 8, One Piece, Gachiakuda. My clip from Gachiakuda actually went viral. It was the guy who did the Kendrick Lamar reference of the bully kid in the episode 1. And I'm also a YouTuber of 15 years. I was big in the cartoon community back in the day. And I'm also creator of a project called Par, a Normal Girl, which is a project I'm creating with the creators of Mucha Lucha and Johnny Bravo.
Kind of what we're doing is we're going over like what the common myths are. There are about 7 in this. Common myths when it comes to voice acting, because a lot of people say like, oh, it's like this, like, right? No, not even close. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that, hey, if you're going to get into the business, you need to understand what are the realities in this. So number 1, people think voice acting is easy. If only that were the case. You have to pay attention to that second word in voice acting. The word acting. So even if you are behind a microphone or on a stage or behind a camera, or even in front of camera, you are still an actor. A lot of people think like, oh, I'll just move to voice acting and like I won't have to look at anybody. I won't have to I'll make a fool of myself. And it's like, not quite. You have to be in front of the engineer and the director, especially if you're doing background voices. You're going to be in there with 3 other people. If you're shy, which I am, I will admit, it's going to be not necessarily a steep climb, but you have to learn how to interact with other people. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable, I guess is how people put it. Bringing characters to life with just your voice, because you can't move around too much. You can move a little bit, but you can't go like, hey, what's that? Hey, how's that going? You can't move off the mic. Don't move off the mic, please. I say this as an engineer. Please don't move off the mic.
I would say one of the biggest things that you would need is commitment.
Yes.
I think that who in here has wanted to be a streamer or tried to be a streamer? You don't just start and all of a sudden you have hundreds of people watching. You either have 2 choices. You either stop because you say, hey, 100 people aren't watching me, I don't want this. Or you say, well, I want 100 people to start watching me, so I need to build my audience and I need to figure this out so that I can make this a success. Voice acting is very much the same way. You're not going to start out in, making the next Disney show your first project or whatever, but if you love the craft and you love what you're doing and you work towards it every day, you will get there.
Rejections and auditions, they're a huge part of this industry because we go in and we audition for stuff or we get stuff sent to us at home. Not always, but sometimes people will just cast us. They'll just be like, you know what, they're good for this kind of character, we'll just cast them. But it's not that often.
So myth number 2 is that you don't need training. That could not be farther from the truth. In reality, it's 100% necessary. One of the biggest questions that people always ask is, how do you get into voice acting? And I always say, well, are you into acting in general? Do you like the craft? Do you want to be an actor? Do you watch anime? Do you hear those voices? And do you think not only can you do it, do you imagine your voice in those? And I think if you're able to do that, I think that's the first step in taking your dreams and slowly bringing it towards reality. I would recommend workshops that have directors at studios that you want to work with, and definitely things like if you wanted to learn like dialects, like accents and these kinds of things, definitely wanting to hone in on those kinds of things and perfecting that craft, if that's what you really want to get into, is what I would recommend.
There are people who also go into these classes and they're like, I'm gonna impress the director. I'm gonna do a good job and they'll be able to hire me. Here's the thing though, if you come in with that approach, directors can tell, and they're not really gonna want to work with that person. Maybe later down the road, if they improve enough or something, and you would probably say, hey, I'm trying to get more into this business, what can I do to improve? You do that, they're more likely to work with you than someone who's like, oh, I'm suave, I'm gonna be like showing off to these cool directors and they'll hire me. It's like, no.
That's the other thing too, is definitely be directable and know when to be directable. I've had a lot of talent, or I've seen a lot of talent go in with a director, and they'll give a line read, and the director will correct them on that line read, and they will give the same line read because they are stuck in their own mind of like, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Director, but I think it sounds better this way anyway. I know we have a lot of those internal dialogue battles a lot. At the end of the day, it is the director's show, it is the director's vision. There have been a lot of times where my director has told me to go in a direction with a scene and with a character that I personally have thought I don't know, but at the end of the day, I ultimately would trust my director, and lo and behold, when the product would come out, it was a better product as a result anyway. Trust your director, they know what they're doing, they're there for a reason, and they will not make sure you sound bad, if that makes sense.
Myth 3. It's all about making the funny voices, right? Bakugo, please take it away. Yeah, I'm sorry. Please don't do that. Impressions are fun to do. I like doing them every now and again, but when I go into the studio, whether it be Crunchyroll or whatever, I do not start with that. Oftentimes people will go in and like, I can do a Vegeta, I can do All Might, I can do Bugs Bunny, I can do like whatever. It's like, great. Chris Sabat's still working, by the way. But it's very, like, unless you're working on One Piece, it's very rare whenever we have to have a weird, wacky voice, because a lot of anime these days are more grounded. Even if it's like a fantasy show, sometimes they're like, we want more grounded reads.
For example, if you guys remember back in the 90s, early 2000s, you had anime like Yu Yu Hakusho, where you had characters like Kuwabara, Urameshi. You know, where do you hear those kind of characters in anime in 2026? It just doesn't. Unfortunately, I actually wish those kinds of characters would come back, but they just don't dub it like that anymore. They really are focusing mostly on your natural speaking voice.
Yeah, especially with commercials.
Myth number 4, you need an agent to get started. Well, not necessarily. While having an agent can help with access to high-profile opportunities, many beginners start by finding jobs on freelance platforms like Casting Call Club, Casting Voices, even things like LinkedIn, Blue Sky, these types of platforms. Also, agents do not cost money up front. There are a lot of agencies around that I've seen or I've had people bring to my attention that say, hey, they're offering this type of direction with an agency, but they're requiring this up front, they need this from me. It's normally not a trustworthy organization in that regard. They make money when you make money, and they want you to work so that they can get paid.
Yeah.
But it's also not necessary that you need an agent. Like I said, you can go, you can have a demo reel completely made all on your own. You can go to have classes, get training all on your own, and you can submit this demo reel to studios all entirely on your own. You don't need an agent. But an agent helps because that's the agent's job. They're the ones who go around to all these other studios. They talk you up for you. They basically do that side of your job for you. That's why they get 10%. That's why they get 20%. But they're not necessary. If you know how to walk and talk and do all that, you can. It's just a lot more difficult.
I was watching this panel of voice actors. One person was asking about like getting an agent, and this person was like, well, they charged me like about $40 or so, and the entire panel was like, no. If you are looking for an agent, just do your research a little bit and be like, okay, what are they about? Like, what do they do and such? And who do they have on their little roster? Because usually that's public. Number 5, studio equipment is expensive. Depends on what you're looking at. I mean, yes, the Neumann TLM-103, which is what Crunchyroll has, that's about over $1,000. You don't need that starting out. It's okay. I have this thing called a AKG P220, which is about like $100-$150, but it comes with a shock mount and a case.
Rode NT1 is a good option as well.
Yes, that's another one as well. We as voice actors, we have like little studios of our own at home, and some of them are like, what is it? It could be your walk-in closet if you have one. If you don't have one, PVC pipe is another option. Portable studios can also work too.
Yeah. Or if you want to go all the way, there's things like Studio Bricks, companies that have fully formed like voice rooms already built. Myth number 6: I can impress an agency without a demo. In reality, you need a demo. I have a friend who I met semi-recently. He's a friend who's got some clout. He's a cool guy. He really wants to get into voice acting. And he's a fairly sized on-camera actor. Like, he's got experience, and he's in music too. So I know he has the microphone and the things capable for it. But the problem, I told him, I said, I understand you're a good actor. I understand you have the equipment. I said, but, and I'm sure as much as they'd love to cast you, they don't know not only A, what you sound like, but B, they don't know if your voice can even fit this type of work. It would be like if I could sing and I wanted to get a gig on like a rap job, and I didn't know how to rap, but I knew how to sing. If I show up at the rap job and they're like, wait a minute, you don't know how to rap, it'd be a problem. So I definitely recommend you guys need to get a demo reel. Let them know what you sound like so that they can know for sure if you're a fit for that project.
I'll say this about DIY demos. If you caught me before 2019, I would have said don't even bother. After the pandemic, I'm like, okay, they're slightly fine. But I would say Casting Call Club and Newgrounds. If you put them on those sites, you're fine. But if you send it to, say, Crunchyroll or Bang Zoom or like Studiopolis or a talent agent, they will toss it out. There's someone I'm aware of who has a 2-minute long demo, all with copyright infringed stuff, and it's like character and commercial in it. I'm like, that makes no sense. Don't send that in, please. Some directors are okay with it being 1:30, but generally, if you send it to a talent agency, they want 1 minute, no more. If it's any more, they'll toss it out. Number 7, it's a quick way to get famous. Please don't. Please don't ever say that, please. Those who have thought that, they did not last long in this industry, as far as I'm aware. A lot of times, like especially me, I'm still doing like backgrounds and Walla, and this is not me complaining. This is me being like, okay, like I'm still working my way through. I know a few friends who have gotten almost leads right off the bat. I know some who are still kind of working, but one of them got some pretty good characters here and there. The shortest amount of time I've waited between one session and another was like less than 24 hours. The longest I've waited is 9 months. Fun work, not steady. Because people always think like, oh, once I'm in, I'll be able to quit my job and I'll be fine. Well, here's $100. Is that gonna last you 30 months? No.
I definitely think having the big goal in mind to chase is a good thing. But a lot of people think that the big goal will happen a lot faster than it does, and it doesn't. Like he said, there are some special cases. Like I have many friends who started and they're just huge talents, and they just right off the bat were like, hey, you're a fit for this lead in this show. And it's their first project. It happens. And I have friends who, on the other end of the spectrum, have been in the game for forever. They've never had a lead. They've only had a couple of named roles, nothing crazy, and they've been in the game forever. So luck does play a part. I think charisma and other personality traits also play a part as well. But I definitely think that having that end goal in mind as some place for you to reach later is a good thing. But definitely don't think it's going to happen right away, because it won't.
Exactly. Okay, slide into that. Sometimes people think, I'll be the next Chris Sabat. I'll be the next whatever big name. That didn't work out for those who said that, whether it be voice acting or music.
Focus on being the next you.
Exactly. And that's the presentation. Thank y'all for listening. And now we'll open it up to questions. Yes.
So let's say I don't have like $600 for a fancy little portable booth. Mm-hmm. What do you recommend I use? Maybe like blankets? Are blankets fine? Pillows?
Blankets can probably work. Moving blankets, I've definitely heard are better option.
Moving blankets, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, and if you have some kind of walk-in closet, great. If you don't, acoustic foam will work too.
Yeah. Because you could fold it up.
That's true. That is true.
For do-it-yourselves, that's like a lot of like the big basics. Like
yeah, moving blankets, PVC pipe.
I think if you want to get more advanced, it's like a lot more money.
Yeah. I spent about more than $2,000 on my booth, but that's because we built it from scratch.
And yours is like wooden and stuff like that.
Yeah, actually, I did a test, negative like 70 dB.
Wow.
I'm like,
it's pretty impressive.
I'm like, okay, that works. So you would typically have to go to a coach. Erin Nicole Lundquist is really good at helping you find out what your character archetype is. And she can also help you while you're kind of exploring what your archetypes are. If you decide to go with making a demo as well, she can help you kind of find the characters and script the character to your specifications and whatnot.
It's basically kind of like, so I have a friend in on-camera film, and he gets what's called typecasting. He's a bald, olding, kind of chubby white guy, so he always gets the police officers every time. Voice acting is very similar in that archetype. Like, I'm not sure exactly your type, but you do look like maybe like a military guy. Maybe you could also play like definitely like like an Air Force pilot or like a mob boss. I'd love to see these kinds of things for sure. That's a character or archetype. Now it doesn't mean you can't play like a slime monster or like the devilish prince. But a lot of that stuff requires a lot of extra training where you would have to like really explore in those fields. But as far as like what you bring naturally, that would be your character archetype and the field that's most comfortable for you to explore.
I was maybe piggyback off of what you were saying, trying to find your niche.
Sure.
What helped me is I made a list of all the things I booked for, and I was literally able to just go and listen to all the things that I was booking for, and like, oh well, this is clearly what I'm getting jobs for. This is going to help me a lot.
Yeah,
that'll
Just
work.
following that.
Yeah.
And if you're doing a lot of auditions, it's good to like keep track of them. Who you're sending them to, what you do, what was your choices you made, because you're going to need to reference back to that if you ever do get the role.
I will say also, like, kind of on the subject of keeping track of your auditions, also keep track of what rosters and studios you send your stuff to, because I didn't do that, and I know of like 5 other studios I did. Every other studio though, I'm like, did I submit to you? I don't remember. And it says wait a little while. How long ago did I submit? I don't remember. So definitely keep track of that. It's slightly annoying, but it will help you in the long run, especially if they're like, don't send anything unless you have something new after 6 months.
I definitely tend to be a bit of a morale booster in my little kind of group. But for those who might have a little bit of trouble when it comes to morale in voice acting when they're getting started out, what are some good ways to kind of find that morale or get connected with the community?
Okay. Good question.
I'll let you take that.
I would definitely say, so for example, in the Dallas area, we have a friend in the community. Her name is Dusty Feeney. She hosts once a month their community nights for voice actors in the area. And the cool thing about the community nights is they're very welcoming. Plus ones are often very welcome. Anyone who's just starting out or just taking classes in the area who just want to have a space to meet people and have conversations and these kinds of things, those are often always open. But one of the other things too is whenever you take classes, you meet people.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of those people you might meet are at ground zero, same as you, but you guys are both heading to the same spot. So while on your journey, maybe you haven't made, an anime yet or your first video game yet, but that friend that you went to that class with, they have. And so now, because you guys are still friends, it's like, oh yeah, I'm in this game. Oh, I'm good with the director now. Oh, I can get you on. And then it becomes like a very big friend thing.
Yeah.
So I would always say never close off any friendships. Definitely don't burn any bridges. That's just not okay professionally or just person-wise.
I'm weird in that, like, anytime I'm not at ILI, I have to go to work and I don't socialize with too many people. I'm literally on a computer at home or I'm at a computer at work. Now if I'm going to ILI, obviously I'll meet other students. Like I met Jamie through a class.
we met at ILI.
Yes, we did. For those who were at my panel with Dakota yesterday, I met Dakota in a class and my buddy over there, Perry, in a class as well.
Did you meet him at ILI?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
When learning what you're good at, it's important to remember to have fun.
Yes,
this is a
absolutely.
Fun
Have
job.
fun.
This is a job, but it's a fun job. I always find myself gravitating towards the voices and archetypes that I just love.
Yeah.
And if you love it, if you're having fun in the booth, it'll come through in your performance. That's probably the most important part of your performance is that you're enjoying yourself and you can really believe yourself as this type of person, and you can really believe yourself that this is something that you would do or you would say. I'd say that's a little bit more important than saying oh, was that good or whatever. Feedback from others is important, but remember, if you believe yourself as the role, as the archetype, and you're having fun with it, that's how you continue to get gigs, and it's also how you keep your morale up.
There's been so many times, yeah, I agree. There's been so many times I've lost myself in a role or even an audition because you have to just picture yourself. You are this person. You're no longer you. You're no longer in your house in your pajamas with your coffee next to you. You're some adventurer in some other land. So you've got to embody that. And there's been a lot of times where I've gotten an audition or I've gotten even a role and I've just been so in it that when the line is over, and I have to remind myself, oh, wait a minute, I'm in the studio and my director's over there. I'm not a knight fighting off this dragon or whatever. If you really get into it, you'll hear it back, because when they in the playback, you're like, oh, that's awesome. This was a great panel, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming.
All right. All right. I guess we'll kind of cut it off here. I'll wait around a little bit. I'll leave this up just so people can take a picture.
Please do. Everyone follow us on our social medias, everything like that. Please reach out if you guys have any questions. We're happy to answer.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, guys.